everyone, this is Maritime Academy YouTube channel, and in this video also we will continue with regulations of Annex I of MARPOL Convention. In this video we will continue with regulation 27. As I told you before, regulations 23, 24, 25, 26 and 27 of Annex I, all they are talking about damage stability calculations on oil tankers. And in this regulation also, regulation 27, which is specifically talking about intact stability, actually we are talking under the same subject. And it's telling that for all oil tankers with a dead weight of more than 5,000 tons, which they are delivered on or after 1st Feb of 2002, they are all shall comply with the intact stability criteria which are mentioned in this regulation for any operating draft under the worst condition of the ballast and cargo operation. These criteria are very famous criteria. For illustration of these criteria, I will show you the GZ curve, writing level curve, GZ and hill, and on that curve easily we will talk about this criteria one by one. You have seen this one in stability booklets, calculations, in load line convention, many other places also very similar to this criteria you can find. So let me jump from this part. I will go to the part 3 of this regulation, then we will come back to the actually text of the convention, and I will show you on the GZ curve on the computer that exactly what is talking about here, this regulation. So after that, in the part 3 of this regulation, which that is also is one important part in this regulation, it is talking about operational procedures for handling, for transferring liquids on board of the vessel, from this tank to that tank, from that tank to this tank. Ballast, cargo, operation on board, transferring on board. And it's telling that these type of oil tankers, as I told you, the tankers with more than 5,000 ton dead weight, which they are delivered on or after 1st Feb 2002, these tankers shall have operational procedures for transferring of a liquid on board, which this operational procedure shall be approved by the administration, shall be easily understandable for the officers in charge of operation. It shall not be included with difficult mathematical calculations, formulas like that. It shall be tabular, it shall be graphical, it shall be inserted for easy use, it shall be inserted inside of the load comp, it shall be inserted inside of the approved trim and stability booklet of the ship. It shall be provided for planned sequences of cargo and ballast transfer operation. These are all the specifications that the operational procedure for transferring of the liquid on board shall have. And so this much we shall understand about this part. This was the part 3 of this regulation, in which it was talking about the operational procedures for transfer of liquid on board, which I told you shall have these conditions. So now let's come back to the text of the convention. Then we will have a look to the GZ curve, and we will talk about this intact stability criteria on GZ curve. Then I think it is more easy understandable. Let's go to the convention. Okay, let's come to text of the convention, regulation 27. As we talked, it is about intact stability. In the first paragraph, just have a look. I have something important here for you. Just I want to emphasize on that important part. It's telling that, as I told you, that every oil tanker of 5,000 ton dead weight, delivery 1st February 2002 or after that, shall comply with the intact stability criteria specified in this regulation. For what? For what they shall comply? For this. For any operating draft, under the worst possible conditions of cargo and ballast loading. Here I want to emphasize on this fact that this regulation means intact stability criteria. It is not only about the cargo, it is also about the ballast operations. In the next regulations, I will tell you that why I was emphasizing on this matter in this regulation. So let's come to the criteria. Criteria are very famous criteria. They are 1, 2, and 3. You see 1, 2, 3, 4 criteria. So the first criteria, it is talking about area under the curve, area under the writing level curve or GZ curve, as you know. And it's telling you that exactly the area under curve, now for example, from 0 degree hill to 30 degree hill shall be this much, shall not be less than this much. From 30 to 40 shall not be less than this much. And from 0 to 40 shall not be less than this much. So let's come to the GZ curve. Okay, this is the beautiful GZ curve. Okay, like this. So you see, it's telling that the area under the curve for hill equal and less than 30 degree means in green part shall not be less than 0.055 meter radian. And it's telling that the area under the curve for the hill of 40 degree, okay, and less, it means from 0 to 40, shall not be less than 0.09 meter radian. And also it's telling that the area from 30 degree hill till 40 degree hill is red part shall not be less than 0.03 meter radian. Okay, it was the first part, first criteria. Let's go to second one. In second criteria, it's telling that the writing level GZ shall be at least 0.2 at angle of hill equal to or greater than 30 degree. Okay, so come here. Here, you see, it's telling that at the hill of 30 degree, your GZ at least should be 0.2. Okay, this is also the second criteria. The third criteria, it's talking about maximum writing arm, and it's telling that the maximum writing arm shall be happened. Let me write from the text. The maximum writing arm shall occur at an angle of hill preferably exceeding 30 degrees but not less than 25 degrees. So let's come to the GZ curve. As you can see, the maximum GZ shall be happen at angles of hill more than 30 degrees. So already this happened in 43, 45. This is your maximum. So let's come to the criteria number 4. It's telling that the initial metacentric height, as we know as a GM, corrected for the free surface measured at 0 degree, shall be not less than 0.15 meter. So the initial GM, okay, it's telling that the initial GM shall not be less than 0.15. Okay, from the 0 you will come to this 57.3 degree, and from here you will come back to the GZ curve, and you will see it is more than 0.15. It is your initial GM, which shall not be less than 0.15 meter at angle of heel 0 degree. So it was the criteria. So we finished with the criteria. We finished with the GZ curve. So in the last part also, as I talked with you, we talked about the. We told that it was here. If possible, I make this color sometime. This. Okay. It's telling that operational procedures for the liquid transfer operations, and giving some specification for these operational procedures for liquid transfer operations. There is some criteria. There is some specifications for these procedures. It says that this procedure shall be approved by administration. It's telling that it shall indicate those cargo and ballast tanks which may, under any specific condition of liquid transfer and possible range of cargo densities, be slack and still allow the stability criteria to be met, will be readily understandable to officers in charge, provide for planned sequences of cargo and ballast transfer operation, allow comparisons of attained and required stability using stability performance criteria in a graphical and tabular form, no extensive mathematical calculations by the officer in charge. I told you also about this one. Provide for corrective actions. This one actually I was forget to tell you. It shall be provided with corrective actions which to be taken by the officer in charge in case of departure, in case of overriding from recommended values, these values which already we talked, okay, and in case of emergency situations. So I was forget to tell you about this one. It shall be included with the corrective actions also for the case of the overriding these figures, criteria. And the last one, it's telling that are permanently displayed in the approved trim and stability booklet, and at the cargo ballast transfer control station, and in any computer software LoadCom by which stability calculations are performed. That already we talked about this one also. So that is finished with regulation 27. So I think I gave enough details also on the text. Okay, finally we finished with regulation 27 of Annex I. It was about intact stability. We talked about intact stability criteria as per the text of this regulation, and we explained the same details on the GZ curve. Also we talked about the specification of operational procedures which need to be on board for the oil tankers of more than 5,000 ton dead weight for the purpose of transferring operation of any liquid on board. It can be ballast or cargo. So that is finished for this regulation. In the next regulation, regulation 28, we will talk about subdivisions and damage stability. So thank you again for watching me. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit the bell to see my next video in the next week. Thank you again. Goodbye.